This empty chair represents the addict who died today, not knowing recovery was possible.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the new season of The Empty Chair for the addict that didn't make it, that didn't know recovery was there for them. And I'm so excited to be back here to kick off this season. I have some great guests lined up to join us and everything. And, the reason why we do this is, for the addict that doesn't make it. It's a sad thing. Our numbers came in at over 93,000 died in 2020 from overdose. So we got to keep the conversations going. We got to decrease the stigma. We got to get more beds available. So, but I'm excited to be here on the empty chair this evening. And it has been a while. And since the last time I was here, some changes have been made. I am back at Methuen Police Department at my old job. And I have a new police chief, which is Scott McNamara. So I feel as though that those are some positive changes that we had. And so I just want to give a big shout out to my partner at the PD, Jackie. Hope you're feeling better and wishing you a speedy recovery. My partner in crime had to go in for emergency surgery. So praying for your sister. And I also want to open tonight's show wishing Fran and Phil a happy 25th anniversary. Fran, you're a saint to be with them for 25 years. You do know that's 2 life sentences, correct? So, but we're wishing you a happy anniversary. I hope you're enjoying your vacation and your time together. I saw some of your pictures and it looks like you guys are having fun. Every show is always dedicated to individuals. And tonight we have Nick and Henry, or Henry and Nick, but I'll put them together. These 2 beautiful men, young men, boys, lost their lives to addiction. So we ask that you continue to pray for their families and those that they left behind that are suffering. I also want to take a time to thank our sponsors. New year, new sponsors, new season. So I'm really excited. And what sponsors do is they make the show possible. They, by having your advertisement here, you're allowing us to use the money to scholarship for individuals that need to go into treatment or go to Recovery Coach Academy. So thank you to our sponsors. I first want to give a big shout out to Essex County Outreach. The Essex County Outreach is a collaborative of law enforcement and community partners to combat substance use disorders and mental health matters. For more information, you can check out their website, which is EssexCountyOutreach.com. And a big shout out to Officer Danny Sinclair and Beth Blazonis for getting that up and running. I also want to thank, new to our group, is Greater Lawrence Family Health Center. Their mission of the Greater Lawrence Family Health Center is to improve and maintain the health of individuals and families in the Merrimack Valley by providing a network of high-quality, comprehensive health services. I just actually had to use them yesterday. There was a beautiful woman, Socorro, who worked there. I had an emergency situation, and I was just so impressed with how quickly they were able to help me with an individual. And I sent her a letter today just to say thank you, because their turnaround time with my situation yesterday was amazing. So Socorro, if you're listening, thank you again. You can visit them at their website of glfch.org. They're located in Lawrence, Methuen, and Haverhill. We also have, new to the list, Title Boxing North Andover. Find your inner fight at Title Boxing, 137 Turnpike Street, North Andover, Mass. You will meet Lauren and Patrick and the amazing staff at the Title Boxing Club. And if you do go, tell them that you saw their ad on MVPASAP, and I'm sure they will take good care of you. Continuing on with sponsors who have sponsored us over the years is Alternative Home Healthcare, where their mission is to work in active partnership with community providers and caregivers to ensure that all patients receive the highest quality of care. You can learn more about them at alternativehomehealthcarellc.com. And a big thank you to Bob and Andrea Surratt. Cornerstone Services, they provide all your needs for both residential and commercial, electrical, cleaning, handyman, HVAC, plumbing, and heating. No job is too small for Cornerstone Services. If you need assistance with them, you can reach out to John Croto, and I have his number, and it's also listed on his banner. Essex Company is a family-owned company with high standards to satisfy their customers. They provide beautiful cabinets, countertops, and quality flooring. You can reach out to Fred at 603-508-5052, and their number is also on their banner. One of my favorites, not to be prejudiced, is Haven of Hope. It's a beautiful 12-step-based women's recovery home in Methuen, Mass. The house sits on the beautiful property of the Mount Carmel Church and has assisted many women in their journey. For more information, you can reach out to Jean at 978-258-3982. I also want to thank Lawrence Methuen Community Coalition. A big shout out to all the members at LMCC, which serves Andover, Haverhill, Lawrence, Methuen, and North Andover. They provide a continuum of ready, accessible services that foster the health, safety, and well-being of individuals and families. And I think last for the banners would be our Top Seal Addiction Treatment. They are the premier outpatient addiction treatment facility north of Boston. They're located right in Andover. They provide safe and comfortable environment for addiction treatment and recovery. You can see them. I believe their phone number is there, and you can also go to their website. A big shout out to the Circle of Hope, which is a family support group that meets at Methuen Police Department every Monday night at 6:30 to 8. Thank you to our host of that, which is Phil and Fran Leahy. If you need more information on that, you can reach out to Phil at 978-886-29, and I don't have the rest of his number, so hopefully it's up there. Or you can also reach out to me. And just a reminder, we have 2 Celebrate Recoveries in our area. They are 12-step Christian-based programs. One meets Tuesdays at the Rock Church in Plastow from 6:30 to 8:30. Your contact for that is Diana Teal. And on Wednesday evening, Celebrate Recovery meets in Lawrence at 60 Island Street, 2nd floor. And for more information on that, you could reach out to Richard. I want to give Sid Harris a big thank you and Methuen Events for their ongoing support of MVPASAP. And lastly, I want to thank Lou Blassie for being the best producer of the show, for his time and efforts to make the show possible, and for making our podcast available on Google, Spotify, Apple, and establishing our own YouTube channel. So thank you, Lou. And that's all my sponsors. That's how I'm kicking off the year. Just a big heartfelt thank you. And I just want to remind everyone that October is Domestic Violence Month. So if you or someone you know is in need of help, you're not alone. Please reach out to the Domestic Violence Hotline of 800-787-3224, and they will guide you with an action plan. But if you're in immediate danger, please just dial 911 and get yourself some help. You are not alone. And now I get to introduce these 2 amazing people. I have Lauren, which is the owner of Title Boxing Club, and Patrick, staff member and also a man in recovery. You folks went above and beyond by reaching out to MVPASAP to say, hey, we want to do a, what was it called? Kickathon on my shirt.
Boxathon.
Boxathon. And now that you were going to donate the funds to us. So tell us a little bit how that came into play. Was it the first time you did something for addiction? Talk a little bit about how this came into play for you folks.
Absolutely. Thanks, Cole. So 8 years ago, my husband and I started Title Boxing. And one of the biggest draws that we had to, one of the reasons that we were so excited about it was the title really believes in giving back to the community and being hyper local in what we do. And so over the course of time, we've done a lot for the community. And so, COVID changed how we can do things, of course. But as the restrictions changed, and with September being National Recovery Month, it was Patrick's idea that, hey, let's get back to doing what we love to do, what we've always done, right? And hold just an amazing boxathon for the community to raise funds for MVPASAP.
MVPASAP.
ASAP.
Yes, that's how I remembered. MVPASAP. Awesome. So, Patrick, you were like the brains behind of it. What made you say, hey, MVPASAP's who I want to give to, which we appreciate because we do service Methuen, Andover, North Andover, Lawrence, and Haverhill. So thank you so much for thinking of the funds to go to us. What was it like coordinating it? And I know for myself, when I walked in there for the 6 o'clock class, the energy was so intense. I mean, not only did you have that $20 to punch a bag, you had all kinds of raffles going on. And like people were just so giving and so kind. And that right there speaks volumes of the culture that you're running but also it helped decrease stigma. Like, who wants to talk about addiction? But yet here you folks are holding a boxathon to raise money for prevention, education, and all that. So that was huge of you. And was it your first addiction one that you folks did fundraiser for?
It was, yes.
It was. So thank you. Thank you for drawing light to it, bringing light to it, and making it. I know I met an officer there who came with his dog, and it's just like nowadays, if you live on a house on a street that has 5 houses, 3 of those houses on that street are suffering with addiction, and that's what the reality is right now. So I can't thank you enough. So how did you coordinate it? You had so many people step up to the plate donating things. So talk a little bit about it.
I think for me, it was easy just to come up with the idea. It's very personal to me.
Yep.
Been in recovery 7 years today.
Congratulations.
By the grace of God.
Amen. Woohoo!
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The guy does all the work. I just follow his lead,
Amen.
And then working, Lauren, yourself,
Yep.
and the community. As
Yep.
you said, the number of times Lauren and Billy have done something for the community is absolutely mind-blowing that people don't know about. So I think people really stepped up. As you said, everyone knows somebody in recovery, somebody that's they themselves, family member, loved one, somebody that's been lost.
Yep.
So people would just, I think everyone holds it dear to themselves now. The stigma is kind of gradually, not as fast as we might like to see, going away.
Yeah.
And our members are just absolutely amazing. Like, I still get choked up a little talking about, like, when we first did it, we said $20 a bag, suggested donation. The members were like, no, not suggested donation. 2 of our members said it specifically, make it mandatory, $20 for a great cause. So we're like, okay, well, people can come for free. We're not going to charge anyone if they don't want to.
Yep.
54 bags we have in the club.
Yeah.
State-of-the-art club. It's not your old Rocky gym that you see
I
on
can
TV.
testify to that, and so can our guest that's coming up later, Zach. Absolutely.
So I was hoping $1,000. We can get 50 people in here.
Yeah.
And Lauren's got the math behind it, but the number of people, donations, raffle items, support, people all across the country, counselors that I had, thankfully, when I was in treatment in Texas in 2014, that reached out and donated and gave money. Like, it just blows me away. Yeah. It far exceeded anything I could have expected.
I was thinking 500 when I left. You guys threw a number at what was going on, and I mean, I sat in the parking lot and just cried. And a lot of the people that I met, they weren't in recovery, and they were just like, yes, we want to be part of it. That the energy that was there was just so overwhelming and so beautiful. And some were in recovery. There was a gentleman from the Woburn Club that actually drove down to let me know how many years he had and that he wanted to participate in it. And that's how we decrease stigma. That's how we have these conversations, is by folks like you willing to put your neck out there, because a lot of companies still won't even acknowledge, won't talk about. They'll have a little room on the side to go to if someone needs help. But no, you guys went like forefront with it. And then from there, we had the Tribune get involved because they were so moved by what was going on, because they know what MVPASAP has been doing for many years now. And the fact that you folks did this, like, I can't thank you enough, And I know all our board members as well. They are just forever grateful. We actually sent someone today. He did his intake today and he leaves tomorrow, and we scholarshiped him. So, like, your members and yourself and our sponsors, like, take joy in knowing, like, you're helping an individual on their journey in recovery. And then typically what happens is after they get a year, they come on and talk, and they'll share their experience, strength, and hope. So speaking of, I want to hear a little bit about you. Like, today's 7 years, so congratulations and hats up.
Thank you.
Hats off to you, brother. But
thank you very much.
7 years, and that's a miracle. To call yourself an alcoholic or an addict and to not use for 24 hours is significant. Never mind to make it to 7 years. So tell us a little bit about your journey, and especially if you incorporated boxing in with part of your journey. So let's hear about it.
Yeah, 24 hours at one point seemed
impossible.
dang near impossible. Yeah. every single day.
Yeah, I remember
The easiest thing to do for me was to continue drinking.
Yep.
The hardest thing to do was to stop and ask for help. That's not always the greatest thing. Unfortunately, I have people around me over the course of those 7 years that have led and guided me, and yourself. I've met you on several occasions, Phil Leahy, the original founder. So to answer your question a little bit better before, why MVPASAP? Like, you guys were the most obvious choice.
Amen.
You know,
thank you.
Several people from Haven of Hope. I've met several women that are in recovery for longer than I.
Amen.
One of which, when I came back from Texas, funny story, was one of the first speaker I heard in a meeting in this area when I came back. She's still sober to this day.
Amen.
Absolutely amazing. And, you know, you hear the 12 step bass, and I just, my ears perk up like a dog when I hear that. Like, that's what changed my life. I had some sober time, dry time, if you want to call it, prior to 6 months, not too long prior to going to treatment again. By the grace of God, would be my last time. But I get to fourth and fifth step like many others, and I balked, and I was like, it's a little bit tough, you know? So when I was blessed to find this treatment center in Texas and spoke to the founder down there and asked about the 12 steps, and he said, yes, you will do them.
Amen.
I knew that was what I needed. At this point, I was knocking on death's door. Like, I didn't have a choice. You know, I lost the power of choice, as we say in recovery. Thanks to Lauren here.
I know. So Lauren, did you know him as a drunk and then watch him get sober?
I did. I don't know that I was fully aware of it.
Of how bad it was?
Of how bad it was.
Yeah. And when did you become aware of it?
Pat came to us the first time that you started recovery once with us, I think, right? I don't want to mistell your story. But then when
I'll just keep track of it. Wasn't pretty.
Pat's a very honest, upfront person.
Yep.
And so he shared it with us.
Nice.
And every time we just said, you know, whatever you need, like, we're here to support you. And Pat's done such a tremendous job, and he also does it full circle, right? So not just with our member base, right? That now is talking openly about this, and we're learning how many people are in recovery or getting into recovery or trying to, you know, get into recovery. And then I myself, my brother, went through many attempts at recovery before he, he's for now sober. And Pat was a rock through all of that. And I know that he gives a lot of gratitude to the club and others for being a support system for there. And I think sometimes he doesn't fully realize how much support he gives right back to the community, and how many people he's helped by making that choice 7 years ago and every day since. How many people he's continued to help also make that choice.
I know. I think it's pretty awesome. And one of the biggest things is getting the dopamine going. So the fact that you're utilizing this as well is absolutely amazing. Do they have a phone call?
Yes.
Put your headsets on, ladies and gentlemen. Who do we have?
I think you'll recognize this voice.
Hello?
Hi, Cole. How the hell are you?
Oh, I'm not plugged in.
Oh, you're not plugged in?
No. So I'm going to, keep it on. I'll come over and just use half of it. Yeah. Hello?
Hello, it's Phil.
Happy 25th anniversary. We love you.
Well, thank you so much. But we're waiting. We're waiting just outside before we go into the bubble room.
Yes.
And I just wanted to say hi, and I wanted to thank
Miss Lauren.
Yeah, and you know, I did talk to was it Peter over the phone, and you know, can't tell you how much we appreciate it during really hard times. And also, I know you have Zak, and I'm probably not going to get a chance to talk to him, but I wish you would send the message along saying how proud I am of him and how much I appreciate the fact that, you know, in the early days, he used to come across the street and sit in the driveway and visit with me, and we would chat. He's a nice kid, and I'm glad things are going well for him. And I'm glad that you're back on the empty chair, my dear.
Me too. So go enjoy yourself. Happy 25th anniversary. We said a prayer for Fran at the beginning for putting up for you for 2 life sentences. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see you when we get back.
All right. Love you and miss you. Thank you for calling in.
Okay, kid. Talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. So y'all know Phil. Well, Lauren, you don't know Phil, but he's the original that started MVPASAP along with Senator DeZoglio, Jennifer Barnes, and a bunch of people in Methuen came together to create this. So this has been going on for a while. He wanted to step down and wanted someone to hand the baton to. I followed him for a good year before I took the baton. So he kind of like molded me and got me ready for this. So I'm glad he got to say hi to you guys.
He's a great man.
He
I've got to
is.
meet him several
Yeah,
times. And speak
absolutely.
very highly of you.
Yes, yeah. I'm sure he's a good man. So finish your story.
So yeah, I mean, as Lauren mentioned, the community, as we refer to a community, a family, Title Boxing Club, with our members, the support over the years from them, from Lauren 2 times in 2014. I had to call her and they said, just be like, I won't be in tomorrow. I'm going away to rehab. And then going away again. And
I remember you saying that phone call was hard for you to make the second time.
The second time was even worse.
Was she supportive?
100%. There was no question whatsoever. It's just you do what you need to do and you get better. And we're here for you if you want to come back or just here for you in general.
Amen.
Her only concern was my well-being.
Amen.
And
at the time, did you know that your brother had an issue as you're supporting this young man on his journey of like, here we go? So you're aware of it?
We did. Yeah. He had bone cancer at 15 and his leg amputated at 18. And this was years later. And we'd gone through a bunch of up and downs. We didn't know how bad it was. But
wow.
But
So
105 days that year I spent in treatment.
Amen.
So yeah.
Right? That'll do it.
A lot of people look at it shameful, but you know, it's what I needed. Hopefully it was enough to get it through this time around. You know, it's and the 2 young men that we dedicated tonight to, Henry and Nick, who unfortunately aren't with us tonight. Both of them just over 18 years old, and both are. It's amazing. You can't explain it to somebody non recovery, I guess. The grace of God, they're not, you know, but the way those 2 young men helped me in my recovery at 18 years old, it's absolutely amazing. You know, the community we have in recovery. To try to explain that to somebody who's not in it. And, you know, a lot of times in a meeting you hear somebody saying, I'm grateful recovered alcoholic. Like, I am grateful. I honestly think I live a better life than I did even before my alcoholism may have kicked in. Progress, not perfection. You know, none of us are perfect by any means, far stretch, but you really do find a better way of living. Not just the sobriety, but the way you live and carry yourself, and the people you meet that will, without ever even knowing them, would give you the shirt off their back. You can't explain that.
I had the pleasure of meeting your beautiful daughter at the event. What was she like in regards to when you went into treatment, and then how's your relationship today?
You're really trying to make me cry, aren't you, Cole? So we have a little joke to this day. A lot of people don't know that she learned at too young of an age what it's like to eat too much cake. And that was how I had to explain it to her. October 13th, 2014, that I have a problem. And you don't drinking beer necessarily isn't a bad thing. Eating cake isn't a bad thing. If you eat too much cake, you get sick. Right? Daddy drinks too much beer, he gets sick. And she's absolutely amazing, 11 years old. And I told her about it. And her only concern at the time was for her older brother. She said, how does Mickey feel? Is he okay? She wanted to know that her older brother was okay when I was going away for treatment. So, no, 11-year-old shouldn't have to live the life wondering when their father's coming home again. You know, nor should have her brother at 18. You know, wondering when dad's going to return for the second time.
What's your relationship today with them?
Good. I mean,
Amen.
it's great. Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah, I'm going to be a grandfather. My oldest
Woohoo!
one is having a
All
baby.
right, Mickey.
So, yeah,
Whoop, whoop.
it's going to be a little bit, now I got to deal with the part of being called Papa or Grandpa or
Uncle.
Papa Bear.
Uncle
Yeah. So,
Pat.
but yeah, they're good.
Yeah, yeah. Your daughter seems solid and into your recovery, and it was really cool having her there at the event. Yeah,
She wants to work with me.
of course she does.
So
Nice. So I just want to say thank you for doing it for us. We truly appreciate you. If you're looking to get into any kind of working out, tile boxing, this is the place. Their generosity is unbelievable. In regards to the workout, I love when you put up the pictures of their 50th workout. Someone had a 100th workout. I was like, God bless them, you know. So that's really cool that you do that. And I know you wanted to donate to us, and we don't know the amount, so we're dying to hear.
Ready?
And I told all the board members to listen.
Well, so this is the best part. So since we're still selling the recovery t-shirts,
Yes.
there will be additional donations coming. So this is just the first. But today we're excited to have the honor to present you guys with $6,587.
Oh my God, Zach, clap back there. That is overwhelming. And I want to say thank you to all of the members. I want to thank you, especially to the two of you for doing this. This is unbelievable. I have our board members are listening tonight, and this is coming at the best time ever. Because you have no idea, and you'll learn soon why. But thank you so much on behalf of MVPASAP and all of us. So we have something for you that we wanted to give you, and let's see. So we thought this would look cool inside.
Oh wow,
That is awesome.
So on behalf of MVPASAP, this is much appreciated. So that is for you.
Well, thank you guys so much.
You're welcome. And then as a woman
That's
in
amazing.
long-term recovery, hi everyone, my name is Cole. I'm an alcoholic. It is an honor and privilege to hand this gentleman his 7-year medallion, something that he's worked for.
Thank
and I
you.
did the colors of your gym to get it right. And on behalf of MVPASAP, thank you very much for what you do for the community, what you did for us, and keep shining your light no matter what.
Thank you so much.
7 years of recovery right here.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And on that, we're going to get ready to go into our break, but I just want to say thank you. Go to Title Boxing, North Andover, best place ever. And thank you both for being here.
Thank you, Cole.
Thank you.
You're
for
the
having
best.
us.
Thank
Thanks.
you so much. And
Hi there. My name's Phil Leahy, and I do the Empty Chair show here. And as much as Fran and I have enjoyed doing this show, our real passion is with where it all began, the Circle of Hope, my support group for the families of addicts. I learned a long time ago that dealing with an active addict is just too difficult. So we invite you to join our group, the Circle of Hope. Give me a call, 978-886-2949, and you'll see our banner on the show anyway. And give me a call, find out what it's all about. You know, if you don't think you're ready to sit into a group, Fran and I always invite people over to the house, and we sit down, have a one-on-one, and we talk about a plan you'll have to set up, how to deal with someone in active addiction, or just give you a chance to vent. So, I mean, if you or someone you know has dealing with someone in active addiction, reach out, give a call, take the first step. I promise you that it won't make it easier, but once you understand what it's all about, you'll be able to deal with it a little bit better. So again, 978-886-2949. Just ask for Phil. I'm always available 24/7. Thanks, and we'll see you on the Empty Chair. Bye-bye.
welcome back to the second half of our show. I have an amazing young man here tonight to share his experience, strength, and hope. And I was just telling Zach that Phil Leahy had called in. Phil and Fran are in Florida, and they were getting ready to head into dinner. But he wanted to say, Zach, you're an amazing man. He remembers you from coming across the street to talk to him. Yeah. And he's actually the connection that connected me to you, which how all of this recovery journey began. So thank you so much for being here to share your experience, strength, and hope.
Thank you.
You got to witness a miracle of us receiving $6,587 from Title Boxing in North Andover. That's beyond amazing, and this money will be put to good use. So so thanks for coming.
Yep.
And I know one of the things that MVPASAP does scholarship for is also Recovery Coach Academy.
Yes.
And today's the year anniversary.
The 1 year anniversary.
That we scholarshiped you, and you and Lisa finished.
By coincidence too.
Isn't that a trip?
Of all things, I had no idea until it popped up on Facebook.
For the memory.
Yeah. But yeah, and also too, Phil actually got me into my first detox it wasn't my first detox ever, but it was the first one where I actually stuck it out, and I ended up having like 8 months that time around.
Wow.
So I started to learn about staying sober, getting sober. So it's just amazing how everything works, Yeah. It really is.
Why don't you share a little bit about your experience, strength, and hope? How'd you get started? How'd you get those 8 months? What caused the relapse, and where you at today?
Oh, I don't even know where to start. I really don't. Do we start from the beginning? I don't know. I will, because I think it's just like so important to like bring awareness to the disease of addiction and alcoholism, and I don't think people want to acknowledge it's a disease.
Yeah.
So I was actually like looking it up earlier, and like for example, 75% of women who are in recovery report like sexual trauma. Yeah. And then 50% of people who suffer from mental illness fall into substance abuse. So if you can't accept that it's addiction and alcoholism, there's like these underlying causes.
Right.
And a big thing is like childhood trauma, and like so don't mind me getting too heavy on you,
ahead.
It's just like I actually grew up in Freiburg, Maine. I don't know if you knew that.
I did.
From 5 to 14.
Because you told me.
Yeah. From 5 to 14. Yeah. And I never saw my parents in the same room more than a handful of times. And they were both addicts, My mother's alive and well to this day. She's one of my biggest supports. Amen. I really think that her prayers got me here.
Amen.
And kept me alive, But yeah, I won't get too deep into the whole thing, but like long story short, I lost my father when I was 14 years old. And I found him passed away, and I don't have to get into like the details of it, but it was horrendous.
Yeah.
And I ended up moving from Maine back to Massachusetts with my mother. And after
his death,
he passed away.
So there's your first flag right there of trauma. That's your trauma at age 14, right?
Yes.
Because my trauma was 16, and then it goes into what it goes into.
Sure.
So you moved.
Yeah. No. And like just when I moved to Mass, I had found drinking and smoking weed like prior to, I was probably 12 or 13 years old. And it was just something to do, something that was fun, But then when I moved, it was kind of how I made friends.
Yeah.
And like I bring all this up because I don't think people realize the culture that kids are living in these days.
Yeah.
Like the music they listen to, what they see in social media, like alcohol, Xanax, Percocets. Not to be so explicit, but like these things are glorified to kids that are 11, 12, 13 years old. And it's just kind of a shame that, it's too late. By the time a parent even finds out, by the time you find out your child's smoking weed, they're doing things that you would never imagine. Which terrifies me, especially being a parent. But like all types of stuff. I had 2 of my friends, they suffered with mental illness, and They killed themselves before I was 19 years old. They shot themselves.
Yeah.
You know, and like this is the thing too, right? Is I'm just one person in this world, in this whole grand scheme of things. There's people out here suffering, and it's more than just like, oh, they're an addict, they're an alcoholic. You know, it's like it's the things that they're dealing with. And like let's break it down too. Like and I'm blessed. I live in Massachusetts. This is the greatest state to be an addict in. If you live in New Hampshire, Maine,
for treatment,
yes,
I agree. 100,000%.
I had a cousin. He was at the northern part of Maine, and he was drinking a gallon of vodka a day. And I was telling him I was giving him suggestions like, you should find a facility to help you get off of that. And he said, well, in order to go there, I have 5 hours to get to Portland.
Yep.
And I'm thinking, like, I didn't even want to go to Tewksbury from Methuen, and he has to go 5 hours, and that's a commitment. Like, I don't think your ride's coming back if you change your mind.
Right.
You know, so like we're just blessed in this state that we have that option, and like you don't know until you know that like that is an option. You know, and so. I don't know. And then we have to look at like how backlogged like getting treatment for mental health is.
Yeah, it's awful.
I
have a friend who has his son sitting in an emergency room for 2 weeks now. They're still waiting for a bed. Yeah. And this is an adolescent. It's awful. Yeah, no. And we find and we see and we, you know, like suicides are happening because these people can't get help long enough. Right. I actually just celebrated 21 months sober. On the 5th, right? Amen.
Thank you so much. And like that's all like God's grace. And first of all, let me say that it's God's grace. My wife for putting up with me. I love her so much. Yes, my mother, who's also named Lisa.
How cool is that?
Michael Gorman and his mother Nancy from TMF. Those people were so good to me when I first there's just so much in everybody's story, you know, that we could get into, right?
Yeah.
But I really want to talk about, I want to stay on the mental health thing, right? Yeah. It takes time. It takes, right? So if I'm suffering and if I'm addicted to alcohol and drugs and I have underlying mental health issues, I'm looking at, I have to get sober, not knowing what's wrong with me. And maybe 6 to 12 months later, I'll have a therapist. And say if somebody needs medication, you know, they need whatever, a psychiatrist, whatever that is, you know. And then those medications take time, 6 months to a year for somebody to adjust and to start feeling okay. Like we're taking people who have been using drugs for 5 to 10 years to cope with all these traumas they don't know they have. Like this is why it's so important to smash the stigma and for people to feel comfortable talking about this stuff because I have 21 months sober. I don't even know what's going on yet. I had 8 months before, 90 days before. I'm like finding stuff out about myself every day that I never knew, like deep down in my core, like, okay, that's who I am. I didn't even know that. Like, this is part of me. And I'm 27 years old and these kids are 17, 18 years old. And they're lost. And like, look at, again, in Massachusetts, we have recovery high schools.
I know.
And I'm like, how would you even know in high school? But hey, you know what? Like, that's awesome.
I know.
So, kind of mixed messages there, but just like, I did want to touch on the mental health.
That's why I started the Wellness Wednesdays at the police department for the whole summer. Because I'm like, people are not going to be seen at school. We don't know how individuals are going to be. And mental health, there was a 19% increase in overdose, in suicides. And one of the things that really wrecked me were the 2 stories on 2 Thursdays. One was the woman and her daughter walking, and the neighbor had mental issues and harmed them. And then the following week was the officer that committed suicide. I think he was Groveland and lived in Haverhill or reverse. And I was like, this is too much. So I held a resource night and I had an organization come in to talk about their mental health services. And I didn't do my homework because a parent raised their hand and said, so how quickly can you see my son? And she's like, 6 months. And I leaned into Phil and I go, what did she just say? And he goes, 6 months. And I was like, you know what? We need to do something. So I ran that Wellness Wednesday at the police department. We were honored to have Tom Donovan and Kim Chadwell from Arbor Counseling be of service there. They were there for an hour and a half every Wednesday to deal with any kind of crisis or to get someone hooked up for an evaluation. And that was the whole thing. Like, instead of kind of like Michael's, right? You don't see them all week, but they keep coming every week. So at least you're having connection so that this person, buddy, just meet me next week, or even come back to my office and talk, so that connection's being made instead of 6 months. I'm like, 6 months, these people are going to be dead. Yes. So no, mental illness right now, add COVID to it. Yeah. Like, my heart goes out to anyone that got sober during COVID. Like, y'all had to do it on a TV screen.
Yeah, and I was one of them this time.
That's crazy.
I really was.
Because it's all a part of disconnect. So now I'm disconnecting you and you're talking to a TV screen. And here you are, when part of our biggest part of this is fellowship, human touch, conversation, and boom, let's get sober on Zoom.
Well, it's ironic too, because then like we had that gentleman in Salisbury, I won't mention his name, and like there was people like that, and like it's like 100 years after. I might have the dates off. I don't know what I'm talking about, but whatever, years back, we had prohibition. And now instead of speakeasies for booze, we have speakeasies for staying sober. Yeah,
the cop would drive by and he'd flash the light and he'd shut it off like, I'm not seeing this, because he knew that recovery was going on in there. And I'm forever grateful for that, because it saved even at long-term recovery. I spiraled into depression, like, what the hell is going on with our world? So we love that man very much.
Yeah, that was awesome.
It was awesome.
And I think people should know that too. Like, Zoom's a great option.
Yeah.
It works. Like, it's free counseling, if like you're dealing with addiction, alcoholism, and then also you'll talk to people in there, and there's meetings that are also for, you have to be careful. It's the internet, use discretion. But like, people need to know there's resources out there. So like, that's why I love what you do. I haven't got to watch your show a lot. I have my own program, as we call it, and then I have 4 daughters at home.
Amen.
And just like a bunch of stuff going on, excuse, but just, it's, people need to know. Like, you can get better.
Absolutely.
Like, you really can. Like, 21 months ago, I had $0. I had a 5-month-old baby, and I had a full-blown heroin habit. Since then, I got sober. I got a scholarship from you to go to Recovery Coach Academy. I worked in the field of recovery for a year. It was very taxing. I ended up stepping back and doing it like as a per diem thing, part-time. But that was because I had a job open up as a city worker.
Nice.
And like I said, I won't mention the city because you never know. I don't want people to know too much about where I work. No one's business, but like, that's a respectable, commendable job. And this is an alcoholic addict who did it, and like, man, it wasn't me. I swear it wasn't me. It was, it's God. It's God doing his work. And like, the people, you just make amazing friends, and it all like intertwines and connects, and this one, and I know it's just amazing. It's just amazing. It really is, so.
And it proves like recovery can happen, but you got to do the work. So did you notice, like, you had 8 or 9 months and relapsed, and now you're at your 21 mark, right?
Yeah.
Is there a difference? What are you doing different than you didn't do last time?
I was in a halfway house.
Yeah.
I was in treatment facilities. So it was like, the option was live there or be homeless.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm not better than anyone. I just couldn't. If anything, I'm weaker. These people that survive on the streets, wow.
I know.
Like,
I know.
These people are creative.
Yes.
Like, if they, like, when they get sober, and they put that that ingenuity into living like a sober, prosperous life, it's going to be amazing. But yeah, I was in a sober house, halfway house, whatever you call it. And I was 23. I just didn't know. And like, it just took time. I think I also got sober for the wrong reasons. It was like I wanted to be like the most famous sober person. Like I did. I wanted to like make music about it and then write books about it. And I did a fair share of both of those. I used to like doing that. I like the arts, I like expressing myself through that. And then like, it just wasn't for me anymore. Like the dream kind of changed. Like I like having like a private life and like helping people. It's not even like you can brag, right? Like, oh, I like helping people and not telling anyone, like, because I'm not really going out of my way. But it's nice when you help someone and you didn't even know you helped them. Like, because if I don't know, I can't like just focus on helping everybody every day. I can't. I'm too sick in my head, you know, like. But yeah, this time around, I made a promise to myself. I was sick of losing myself. I feel like every time you relapse and you go back into those patterns and behaviors, you get sober again, and then like you just don't feel right. Still a little more every time. It's like just I don't know. It's just like chiseling away at your soul. You know, like you lose a little bit of it. You know, and then as you stay sober, you start feeling okay again. You know, it's just I don't know. I don't know the difference. I do know the difference. It's God's grace. That's the difference. You know what I mean? Because just one day it was almost like I knew better, and like it became clear what I wanted to do. You know, and like before, no matter how much I read, no matter how much I wrote, I could search and meditate. I did all that. I was like getting into these meditation books and like encyclopedias and stuff, and like I really thought I was onto something, you know, but it's just, I don't know. And now I'm just like, yeah, like take it as it.
Yeah. You're a father of 4.
Yeah.
And
4 daughters. I have 2 I don't like calling them my stepdaughters, but they're 13 and 11, turning 14 and 12. And then I have 2 babies, all girls. And the beauty of it, how God works too, is I wasn't raised to disrespect women, but like I didn't know how to respect women, how to approach them, how to like have them as a friend, and how to just like be myself. You know, that wasn't instilled into me, unfortunately, as a kid. And then now I have all these girls, and it's like they're helping me become a man now, because like I just have like a new respect for not only women, just like people in general, and how selfish I've been, and like I don't know. It's just, I don't know.
It is so cool to witness. Yeah. It is so cool to witness you as a dad. I love when you hold on the baby and you guys you fall asleep and Lisa will snap a picture or whatever. And so you have 2 that have never, ever.
Yeah, no, they don't know.
They don't know anything like that.
No, they don't know of it.
They got a sober dad that loves God.
That's it.
And how much more could they ask for?
Right.
You know, that's a beautiful thing. It's a great start for the kids, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's endless, you know, like it's just like anything's possible if you just ask for help. I guess that was the biggest problem, was like, I don't know, like it's hard to like phrase it, like, you know, just admitting that I need help from other people.
Yep.
Why is that so hard? Why is that so hard today?
I'd rather get lockjaw.
Yeah, why is it? I don't know. Why is it so hard to admit? We need help. We need help. Like we're human.
Because the disease is so thick.
Yeah.
That it's telling you, don't ask for help because you're weak.
Yeah.
Don't ask for help because they're gonna know something's the matter. I think everyone around you knew something was the matter.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Except me.
Yep.
Yeah. So
when you came to ask for help, how much relief was there? You know, from those around you.
Yeah, it took time. I remember when I went to Worcester, this was the detox that Phil got me into.
Yeah.
People were coming in and sharing their stories.
Yeah.
And I ended up going back to my room and I was crying. I started crying and I was yelling, "I'm sorry." Nobody was in the room. I was just yelling, "I'm sorry." And I like hit the floor and started praying. It was like the first time I had prayed in just years and years and years. And it was all that stuff from like as a kid and as a teenager that I didn't really get into, but like you catch the drift, you know, like when, you know, parents were addicted and blah, blah, blah. And then that brings me to my next point, actually. I think victimization of self is the biggest threat to me.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Oh, man. I wanted everybody to feel bad for me. You know, like that was my manipulation tactic. After my father passed away, like I would use that to just get out of any trouble. I got out of trouble selling weed in school because of it. I got like my mom did the best she could, but it was basically like,
yeah,
what are you gonna do? The kid's 14. He just found his father passed away.
yeah.
And like I used that, and it's sick, and that's why like when I go to when I go to like my recovery programs and stuff, I don't talk about it a lot. I'll wait to like a special time, because before I would like go to a meeting and I would just be like saying all this really personal stuff, and I'm like making myself seem out to be like I have this crazy unique story, and then what would happen is like 2 or 3 weeks later I would not be comfortable enough to go back to that meeting because I was like sharing that out of I don't know what the word is, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like it was just all attention and manipulation, and still to this day I have to work on it,
Oh my God, absolutely.
Yeah, it's just like it's 27. When you live like that for so long, what can you do?
Yeah. And like we were just saying about how it's actually not an addiction, right? Alcohol and drugs wasn't our problem. Our problems are thinking, the way that we think, the way that we process. And coming off of everything, and now all of a sudden you're sober, you're clean, and you still got this going on and nothing to shut it up.
Yep.
And that's where the work comes, and I know by looking at you and by witnessing your journey, you've done some significant work over the past 20 months. 21
months, yeah.
21 months, so you should be proud of yourself for the work that you're doing.
I am. I definitely am. I have a problem with that too, being confident enough to like accept the fact that like, hey, you stop being you stop being such an egghead.
Yeah.
But that's still who you are, but you just like, I don't know. Now my bad decisions aren't as bad. It's like 10 p.m. eating a cupcake. I can't put food down now. It's like, it's my biggest thing. It's so hard.
Yeah. Especially if it's red velvet cupcakes.
Yeah, there you go. So, it's, I don't know. It's just kind of amazing.
Yep.
And there's so many people I want to like just say this guy, and I won't do that. I won't bring any names into it, but a lot of the people I know, and like, how could I?
And I didn't even I didn't even tell you who I knew or who knew me or nothing, and it just came full circle, which was really cool.
Yeah, and real quick, if we have time, like
we have plenty of time.
My heart really goes out to these kids that are in, everywhere, but like these small towns up in Maine.
Yeah,
I can't explain like the feeling of growing up in a small town in Maine, like the beauty that's up there, right?
Yeah.
I grew up next to the Saco River. I would literally every day walk down to the Saco River, jump off the bridge. So like I actually had like a beautiful childhood in a lot of respects. I played sports. Yeah. I wasn't one of those people who was uncomfortable when I was a kid. Like I would make the class, I'd take the attention if it was a joke. I could take the joke, take the attention off someone else.
Yeah.
And just, I wasn't uncomfortable until my father had passed away, and then I changed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not all doom and gloom. I have to like remember, okay, you had like a lot of great times, and I had a friend bring me to Florida for 2 months. Like I have to that's what I need to try to remember, because I need to try to like tip the scales and be like, all right, hold on. Like, is this all you want to remember is the trash and like not the treasure? Like there's so many, but it is. So those small towns up in Maine, they're so beautiful and you wouldn't expect it, but there's just like this dark cloud over, like the addiction, the alcoholism, just running rampant. And then like, but imagine there's just not as many people to talk to.
I know.
And like, especially like Freiburg, I don't know how many people.
That's where the fair is, Freiburg, Maine. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. They just had it
near North Conway.
Yep. Right next to North. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't even know the population. I could never guess, but like everyone knows everybody. Everyone knows everyone's business.
Yeah.
And it's like, so whoever your parents are, that's who you are. Whoever your parents' friends are, that's just who you are. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's like, you don't even know, you're just a kid, but this, just like anywhere, the parents don't want you hanging out with these kids and you don't know why. And, you're feeling weird. Like what's happening? Like what did I do? And it's not. It's like it's terrible, you know. So yeah, I mean, my heart it goes out to all these kids, you know, that are suffering and dealing with this stuff, and they just don't know how to verbalize it.
Yeah.
And they don't know what's going on.
And that's exactly what the stem of the trauma is not being able to verbalizing it, knowing it's inside, needs to come out, and how am I going to get rid of it? Well, alcohol and drugs shuts it up. You know, if you don't become violent or, you know, same with me at having the trauma at a young age, and just we're shutting down. You know, you didn't know what was going on inside of me, and I didn't know how to articulate my words. But when I got drunk, I certainly did know how to articulate my words, and you did know what was bothering me, you know? So I get it. I'm glad that you keep bringing up the kid piece, because next week is Red Ribbon Week.
Okay.
Where all the schools in Methuen will be acknowledging it. Okay. One of my board members, Dean Bruder, he is a teacher.
Oh, yeah.
At the high school, and he runs a SAP program, Students Against Destructive Decisions, and they'll be acknowledging Red Ribbon Week all week, and that's all about let's not do drugs. That's about a group of kids. When I walked into my first class to speak for him, first it was emotional for me, because when I first did it, it was the age that I started to pick up. And when I looked at these people, they were babies. Wow. And I went, oh no, that's what, at this age, I'm effed up. You know what I mean? Like they were sixth graders, and that was me. They were eighth graders, and I'm like off and running in eighth grade.
That's my my 13-year-old is like, that's how she just
like
brought
you look
home,
at him and say, can you picture her just stumbling in, falling down drunk?
I could not picture. Yeah.
Right.
And she just brought home a contract for that.
Sad?
Yeah,
Amen.
She just brought it home,
Amen.
signed it. Her mom signed it. So we were. I'm like, this is kind of cool.
It is pretty.
I remember
cool.
They had Dare. I think when I was a kid.
That was about.
It didn't work out.
What was Dare?
It was just that whole Dare to be different. Like I forget what the acronyms.
Me too.
But yeah, they.
I think it was Police Freedom or something.
It might have been right. Yeah.
Right. But when I walked into Dean's class, like, because I've been doing it for many years, I think maybe like 2 years ago, like before COVID, when I walked in, there was like 60 kids in one class. I started to cry. I'm like, dude, I would be lucky if I could get 60 in the United States of America, my age, that was going through this. And here they are. And I told them how, I said, this is so important that you guys have this because you can talk about it. Like, this is the place where you have the conversation. So Dean has done an amazing job with SAD for many, many years in all schools in Methuen now acknowledge Students Against Destructive Decisions. And I'm so happy to hear that your daughter came home with a contract.
Yeah, no, it's so cool, you know.
So.
Yeah, and real quick, Dean's awesome. I don't know if he's gonna see this, but I love that guy. You know,
Me too.
He really is a good guy. He's strong. He's a strong guy too. You know?
Yeah, he is. Yes, he is. Do you know he was my 7th grade teacher?
Nope.
And then he was my high school teacher. So he saw me go through my life.
Wow.
And witnesses me today as to who I am. Yeah, he's a very special.
That's awesome.
Holds a very special place in my heart. So.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing.
So we're coming towards the end of the show. If someone's new and they want to get clean and sober, like what kind of advice do you give the newcomer?
I would say, real quick.
Yeah, what do we have?
Got Mikey.
Oh,
that's my guy.
Yep, Mike Gorman. Proud is an understatement. Thanks for being you, bro. I cherish all our times together with Christmas on the streets. Keep leading by example. Thanks. You know, and I know that my best friend Kathy Brian is listening. And Kathy,
that's Caesar.
I love you. Yeah,
Caesar's a good friend of mine, co-worker turned friend.
Amen.
We put up with each other. Lisa,
oh, hi, Lisa. I hope you and the kids are watching. You must be so proud.
But yeah, what I would say.
Yeah, to someone that's newly coming in, trying to get clean and sober, and they say, Zach, what do I do? What are the first things you tell that person to do?
I would say.
What was the most important things you heard?
It's just tough. Like I mean, go to meetings.
Yeah.
You know, like I can't name anything specific, but I do a 12-step program.
Amen.
I would say go to meetings and tell them that you're new.
Yeah.
And go to a meeting or two and get phone numbers, men with men and women with women.
Amen.
And like use the phone and call people. And I used to think I could only call people if I wanted to drink or drug. I will literally call somebody and I'll talk about anything. Anything. Like I can't even, of course I can't think of it, but like the smallest stuff just sends me flying and I have to make a phone call, you know, like it'll be like Lisa wants like decorations or something for the house. And I'm like, I don't want to go shopping. So like I have to make a phone call and just complain because that's what I do.
Yeah. But you get rid of it and then she's not the brunt of it. And then what do you end up doing? You go shopping because it's not that big of a deal.
Right. But early on it is about calling and saying, hey, I want to use. And then like you kind of figure it out together.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, I would find a meeting, you know,
Amen.
Or like if you're a young kid and you think you have an issue, like find someone.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Definitely. I know right now the Methuen schools have the SAD program going on.
Yeah.
But a lot of your local police departments have community engagement specialists in there in Haverhill, Andover, North Andover, Lawrence, and Methuen.
Mm-hmm.
So like in the Merrimack Valley. So that's always a place where if you don't know where to go, just start there and they can direct you. If you're in school, and you're blessed to go to the Methuen schools who do acknowledge the Red Ribbon Week and do encourage abstinence. Like you don't even have to try it, you know, just it's cool to not use or drink.
Yeah.
So a big thank you to Dean Bruder for getting that up and running.
Absolutely.
And I know next Wednesday is the day that they'll acknowledge it in the school. So I look forward to seeing what they're having. But if you're new and you're just tuning in tonight, you know, there is a different way of living. It's an amazing life, but you got to put the work into it. And what I say to the person that's newly coming in, like just 24 hours, just 24 minutes, just live in the day.
Important.
Because I know for my own, when I was getting out of the day and trying to look at the future, anxiety would fly in and how am I going to do this? And how am I going to do that? I don't even know how to do this without drinking, you know, and it's a whole new lifestyle, but it is doable.
Yeah.
You can do it a day at a time by doing the footwork. And there's so many numbers on here tonight, calling me, Zach, Phil. I mean, just reach out and know that you're not alone. So I just want to say thank you for tuning in tonight. Again, Kathy, if you didn't hear me, I love you, Turtlehead. And thank you for joining us. I will be back on November 4th. I have an amazing speaker from Florida coming in. His name's Ed C. He's a man in long-term recovery, and he is a life coach, and he has a dynamite story. So thank you, Lou, for your time. Thank you all for joining us. You're not alone. We do recover, and reach out if you need help. Good night, everyone, and God bless.
Thanks, guys.
No, and we run off